screen.
We can see your screen very clear and very nice.
Excellent, thank you. So we are here to introduce you with the, just let me move this, with the project RIS Internship and give you a short overview. So this is a sustainable and structured program which was directly built for Eastern and Southeastern European students from RIS region, Regional Innovation Scheme regions, which enrolled at master studies related to raw material programs. The duration is 3 years. We started first with the first year of implementation in 2022, and the last year of the project is the next one, 2024. We aim to improve professional opportunities for students in raw material sectors and actually to build work environment challenges or real-life challenges for young professionals and connect industry in our region with the universities. We are based on the successful ADRIA internship program, which was under the regional center ADRIA conducted between 2019 and 2021. And we had about 70 individual internships, which were hosted in 43 different industrial or research technology organizations. The partners in our project are many, and they are coming from all parts of the Europe, from north to south. And basically, we have inclusion of partners from Northern Europe to Southern Europe and Eastern and Western Europe, both. So for Spain, Italy, Portugal, and all other countries, these are the list of eligible countries and the program partners. With inclusion of the RIS countries, which are blue in this scheme, we also are including program master labeled programs, Emerald, Sinrem, Amir, and Timrex, and also Albania and Bosnia and Herzegovina. So basically, in the next 3 years, we plan to implement around 360 internships for 300 companies, to organize 23 matchmaking events, and actually include a large number of students and industrial supervisors, which are trained via online webinars. And we plan that 5% of our students and interns are going to be employed in their internship companies. The scheme is here. So basically, students and organizations are applying independently through our webpage or matchmaking platform that is supervised under the University of Zagreb. And then both students and hosting organizations are running through eligibility check, and the students are actually selecting 3 most appropriate offered organizations. Currently, we have in our database or in pool of organizations more than 70 organizations from Southeastern and Eastern Europe, but also from Spain, and the number is growing. So the organizations are applying via our webpage, and then once they are approved, they enter the pool of organization where the students can check their internally the offers and submit their applications for the selected company based on their interest and of course on the field of study. The matchmaking of the students is made by the matchmaking platform, which is in the below this whole project. And the selected organization and students are signing collaboration agreements, and then the internship and scholarship agreements are signed between the students and the University of Zagreb. And then this is actually the onset of the internship. And before the internship is starting, both interns and the supervisors are passing this competency assessment, which is an online webinar, and they have to conduct a short training before the internship is starting. The call for students in 2023 was launched 1st of February, and it will be open until 31st of October due to the regulations of the EAT raw materials. And then the next call for students will be launched at the end of January, beginning of February 2024. Of course, it should be mentioned that implementation of the internship is for this open call until the end of the year 2023. So the eligibility criteria for students are to actually have a bachelor degree in relevant scientific field. This relevant scientific field is mining, geosciences, geotechnology, material sciences, extractive waste management, metallurgy, and recycling. Must not graduate during the internship, and that the master studies conducted in one of the RIS countries covered by the program, or the students are enrolled in the EAT-labeled master programs, including TIMREX. The GPA, or minimum average grade point, required for the RIS internship program is 60% of the maximum GPA. Students should guarantee B2 English language proficiency, and they should write a motivation letter to contribute to raw material sector. If your field of study is not in this relevant scientific field, then we will ask you some additional support or recommendations. How is your internship going to be aligned with the raw material strategy? So what do you need to apply? Scan of the bachelor degree, a scan of official confirmation of enrollment in master study program, scan of the GPA, grade point average, written and signed recommendation of university professor, in the case GPA is below threshold, CV, passport for non-European citizens or ID for European citizens, and motivation letter. These are the scholarships which are aligned by the distance between the place of study and the place of permanent residence, or the place of internship implementation and the place of study. And they vary based on the distance toward the internship implementation location. The largest amount of 600 euros is for the placement outside of the country of permanent residence. So once you are accepted by the company, you have to complete a short training or webinars, sign the internship agreement, conduct the internship respecting all the rules and arrangements with the hosting organization, and submit evaluation survey at the end of the internship. You may go to our legacy part and watch and read about the experience of interns and supervisors during the pilot implementation. And also what we would like to emphasize is that for organization, there is an opportunity to actually participate in structured internship program involving best students with the coverage of their internship fees, to increase and improve university business cooperation, and actually familiarize future young professionals with the real-life challenges, to complement to capacity building, because the structure program is enhancing leadership and teamwork skills, both for supervisors and for students, and benefit from the matchmaking platform that is developed for students at hosting organization. If you are a student, you are again benefiting from structured internship program covering internship fees. You have a pool of best hosting organizations from regional innovation scheme regions offering the internship. You are participating in structured program, enhancing your professional skills. So skills and capacity building is beneath all this effort, and then benefit through the matchmaking platform. The call is opened, and you can follow us in LinkedIn, Facebook, and subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you very much. If you would have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me.
Hello, I have a question. I am currently a student of the Wrocław University and I'm participating in the TeamRex project. And I was trying to apply for the RIS internship already, and there was no option to choose the TeamRex program. There were only the three. So the Emerald, the CINREM, and Amir, and there was no TeamRex option. What should I do in this situation? Should I write in somewhere in the notes that I'm from this, so that's that you know?
Thank you for the question. The other three programs, they have some specifics regarding the companies that are accepting or not accepting students. For TeamRex, all companies are opened, so you can apply for any of the company. Just make a note, or when you will enter the graduate study program, we will see from your application that you are a TeamRex student. In the application, the other three programs are asking specific agreements. That is why we have them, for the simplicity of the administration program, registered it separately so that we know exactly, the application knows exactly which contract is selected. For TeamRex, it is a general contract. So just apply.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? You can also put your questions in the chat section. Feel free to do that. And if any question pops out during the presentation, it's also, let's say, recommended to put the question in the chat, and we can later, after the presenter finishes, go to the specific question and answer your considerations and remarks. What I also wanted to say, that the webinar, the event is recorded, and it will be further disseminated for the ones who are not able to participate, because this whole April is full of holidays, and it's very hard to get all at once here. And this is the already fourth matchmaking event in a series for the program. So it's clear that the first was the most attractive one, and then we are gathering all together again. So now moving forward to the second part, I will just share again, because I did not share the agenda before. I will briefly remind you again on the point. So now we are in we went through the program presentation, the second item on the list, and now Kristina Koret from University of Zagreb will present the online application platform and instruction, and she will also demonstrate the process live. So Kristina, the floor is yours. Please share the presentation, and if you have any issues, I will do it.
Okay, thank you. Just a second. Do you see my presentation?
It's appearing, yeah, it's here.
Okay.
You can add it in a full screen, and if possible, otherwise.
Do you see it now in full screen? I put it in the full.
Not yet.
I see it. It's visible.
Okay.
I think you can go through.
Okay, so I will present in 20 minutes what is our online platform. So we created an online interface to simplify the matchmaking process between students and organizations. You can find it on our central project web page under application. So in this way, students can research their organization and study their profiles faster. All organizations are listed in the pool of organizations. This is also on our main web page. You will see later. The pool is open database of all applied and approved organizations. And from this year, we have 18 new organizations that joined our project. So students can submit their application for internship in this way for 3 different and desired organizations. The organization then has 14 days to accept or reject students' application. But the whole process is, of course, additionally managed by the program coordinator whenever needed.
Just a second, Christina, we are still at slide 1.
We are now at slide 2.
No.
It's still slide 1. We don't see the full screen.
Let me just try again.
Now we see slide 3.
Is it now working in the full mode?
No, we don't see full.
I think you should share your whole desktop and not only the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, yes, that could be the problem. Yeah. Just a second, sorry.
It's still not full screen. Sometimes Zoom. No, now it is.
Okay, it's now okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So when you go to our central web page, student or organization can apply on this button. Before you apply, it is important to read the call for applications, to introduce yourselves with the program and obligations from student or organization side. Once the application form is submitted, you will receive an email with login details with which you can create your profile on the platform. The profile is based on the application form. Now we did the upgrade of our application, and the organization have 2 new entry fields. They have to fill in how many open positions for internship can they apply in each year, and whether they are able to accept international or national students, also EIT labeled, or all. The new functionality is also that we added a help tab to students and organizations profile. This is a user guide where you can see all instructions on how to use the platform, from applying to creating an internship and closing the whole process. Short advice for organizations would be to fill in the obligatory field required skills and competences of intern, because this eases up the process, whole process of matchmaking in the start. Then students have a better and clearer picture of what is expected from them. So once the student successfully submits the application, we have 7 days to evaluate it. The eligibility criteria is listed in the call for students. You can see it on the web page, and Professor Sibila already mentioned all the criteria. The obligation of each student intern is to complete the necessary competency assessment. This is a short webinar in duration of 30 minutes, where you will learn more about our program, the whole internship process, and what are your obligations as intern. And then you have to complete also the short questionnaire at the link. You receive it all through automatic email with this text. Your application is then forwarded to the company of your first choice, and the new addition is now that each company has a deadline of 14 days to evaluate the application. Before we had 7 days only. If the student doesn't pass the eligibility check, then they receive email with explanation which criteria wasn't satisfied. Student can also click the waiting list if they don't have an idea of which company would they like to conduct internship at, and then they receive notification each time the new company joins the pool. Once the student application is accepted for internship, they receive this email. Before the internship starts, the internship scholarship agreement is uploaded on student profile in approximately 1 month before the internship start date. Students should read the entire contract and upload only the signature page to their profile. All international citizens should also fill in these documents for the creation of a personal tax number for our payment procedures, and they should send it to me by email. If the application is rejected by any choice company, the student receives this email with explanation from organization's side. Of course, each organization has 14 days to make a decision. If your application was rejected by all companies, you can still reapply. We also added new functionality here. On your profile, if you were declined by all 3 organizations, you will have the reapply button that you can just click. Your old application will be withdrawn and you can select the 3 new companies. So in summary, your internship can start when the organization has accepted your application and entered internship dates, when organization and a program coordinator signed and uploaded collaboration agreement, and when student and program coordinator signed and uploaded internship scholarship agreement. When the internship is implemented, you will receive this email with information when internship starts, and also with a reminder that you should submit your final internship report. The template is here. You can download it directly from the email, and a report should be submitted 5 days after your internship ends. When the internship is approaching an end date, 2 days before, you will also receive another reminder on the final report, and also to complete a short evaluation report of your supervisor and also on our program. These 2 reports you have to submit also 5 days after the internship ends. For organization, the process is similar. Organizations that are applying for the first time also have to pass the eligibility check according to the criteria in the call. Decision deadline is 5 days. Once the new organization passes the eligibility check, they also have to complete the competency assessment, watch webinar about our program and mentorship, and complete the short questionnaire. So once the organization receives a student's application, the contact person receives this email, and then the supervisor has 14 following days to decide whether they will accept or reject the student. Also, it is very much recommended to schedule a short interview with the applicant to see if your profiles really match and to agree on the exact internship dates. A contact person also receives 2 reminders to accept or reject the student's application in the 14 days. First reminder goes after 9 days and the second one after 4 days. Here we also did another upgrade. Now we have an option to freeze certain students' applications. So in case the organization will need more time to decide whether they are able to accept student or not, they just need to inform me and I put the status under review. When you have a decision, then we just remove the status and the process goes on. If the student application is rejected and the company has missed the deadline for accepting students of 14 days, then the contact person will receive only this email as a notification that the student was automatically rejected because deadline has expired. Before organizations also received another email notification that the student was rejected, but now we removed this to reduce the saturation with so many emails. Internship can start when organization accepted the student and enter internship dates. Here, I need to say that organization can also accept the student without entering dates if they are not sure at the moment, but don't want to miss the deadline, and they can agree with the student later on the exact dates and enter them in the system. When organization signs and uploads the contract, and when we sign it, then internship can start, and organization receives this email as a notification when the internship will start with the student. And also a supervisor only needs to submit the short evaluation report of the intern and whole program. Also 5 days after the end of the internship. And another reminder goes 2 days before the internship ends to submit the evaluation report. So in summary, here are some key activities presented for students and advice before applying to our program. In general, it is most important to research your companies, especially at this stage when we have many student applications and the whole process is evolving. It is best if you do thorough research and think in advance if your profiles could really match. In the motivation letter, we would suggest to elaborate more your skills and competences and how you could apply them to the specific company's occupation fields. Also, elaborate your specific interests and don't hesitate to contact the company directly and present yourselves, even though these processes are now automated. It is obligatory, of course, to complete the competency assessment, as I already said, and to read the contract and check if all the data are correct. And OIB documents should be sent to me before the internship implementation. From the organization side, it is also obligatory to complete the competency assessment and also to fill in all the fields, especially those that are obligatory in the profile, because then you can reduce the students' applications, which maybe won't match that much. Also, please be aware of the deadlines, which are 14 days. And for students, it is a really good feedback if you explain and enter the reason of the rejection, because now many students receive the automatic rejection emails, but don't know the reasons, so they actually don't know how to improve their application in the future. And again, I would like to remind that internship dates should be previously agreed with the student. Also, the minimum duration of internship is 1 month, maximum is 3, so do not enter dates that are somewhere in between. And of course, additional communication with intern and the project coordinator is recommendable, especially in case of any doubts. This is all for now. You can ask questions if there are some. Unfortunately, I cannot show the short demo login because I still don't have a playground, let's say, from students and organization side. And now if I enter the application, you will see all other applications, but I believe that everything is presented here and it is pretty easy to navigate. Also, there is a help guide that we created and you can always ask me if you if something stops in the process. So this is it.
Thank you very much, Christina, for a really detailed presentation of the whole process. The application form is on our website. It's very, let's say, straightforward, as Christina described. So if anyone has a question related to the application form, maybe from companies, do you have any questions from your side? Not yet, probably they will arise later or in next days. As Christina mentioned, she is always available via email, and contact her. There is also the contact form on the website if you have, and also frequently asked questions. As Sibylla also mentioned before, on our website, when you enter the website, I can also briefly show you now. When you enter the website, you are coming to the newsletter. So welcome to register to our newsletter to receive, let's say, news updates and, let's say, certain events which are ongoing through the whole project, and connect with the community as well. So as now we are a bit ahead of time, but I think still we can jump. We are, let's say, roughly more than 5 minutes ahead of time. But still, to be effective, we will go through the second stage, and I will just share you the agenda to remind you where we are now. So we went through the program presentation and the online platform presentation. These are our, let's say, the core parts. And now, as everyone would like to hear, is the practical example. What is and experiences from previous internships conducted. So now we will, let's say, skip and switch to the presentation of good practices, testimonials from organizations, mentors hosting the students, and from the organizational perspective as well, and students themselves. We are also having one student later. I will just briefly show you the list here. These are mentors and students. I will announce with each one as she is mentor or student. So entering now into the field, I will just stop sharing the screen and kindly invite to the floor Miloš Markić from Geological Survey of Slovenia. He was a mentor, and he will present his experiences, his site, and also the Geological Survey of Slovenia was hosting mostly international students in the frame of RIS Internship program. And here I would like to highlight, please listen all. Their experience is very good, and they have many, let's say, good practices implemented during the international students' internships at Geological Survey of Slovenia. So Miloš, the floor is yours. If you have a presentation, you can share, but you can also talk freely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Mateja, thank you very much for this introduction, and good afternoon to everybody. I'm glad to be with you today and to express my experiences as a mentor to a student. She came from the Uppsala University, Sweden, but she is from Kenya. She made basic schools in Nairobi, also the bachelor degree, and she visited also other institutions, like for example, Mining University in Freiburg and in London also. So we were glad and to accept her among us. So her basic field of interest was mining, environment, space management, and those thematics. So because the time of her living here was limited to 1 month, we decided to present here more or less all our activities we are involved in, instead of go too deeply in some specific things. So she was an excellent student, and showed interest of all that we presented her. She wrote all and made a nice report about all these activities. And okay, as normally we started with the presentation of our survey. Our geological survey provides information about the geological setting and natural resources of Slovenia, and participates in the development of knowledge about past and present geological processes. It collects, stores, and disseminates data about the geology of Slovenia, and through international cooperation with its partners abroad extends its activities over the Slovenian borders. So the visit of this student, Bambui Vamuniu, her name was exactly in this concept, to extend our activities over the Slovenian limits. So it was very healthy also for us to have these contacts and to share and to discuss different themes. And the themes, so we first started with this presentation of our activities, about our administration, about our position in the society, and so on. We, of course, presented her general geology of Europe and where our country is situated with its specific geology. And we also invite her to present us also geology of Kenya. And she carried out with a lecture, which was very nicely accepted and very interesting and very interesting. Then, because my domain of work was mainly, I'm coal geologist, and he was interested in this coal geology on coals and so on, because there are also some projects in Kenya and also about hydrocarbons. So we presented what we work on this field. We also made some microscopic investigations to present how these investigations are running with optical microscopy, with scanning electron microscopy. Yes, and presented here also geochemical examinations of coals or bearing strata. Our department for mineral raw materials is running, or is ahead of the so-called mining book of Slovenia, and we execute also public service in this domain. So about what is going on statistically in the field of mining in Slovenia. Mostly we now our mining activities are limited to non-metallic raw materials. So I invited colleagues from these programs or projects, and they very clearly also explained her what they're doing. Then, for example, our team was also geoheritage. She was interested about geoheritage, and they made with the colleagues, an excursion to one paleontologically interesting location, and showed her how we manage this national, in this case, paleontological heritage of the country. Yes, then hydrogeology, water, so underground waters, potable waters, geothermal waters, mineral waters are also very important theme of our country, especially geothermal, which will now, which has a nice future. We think coal we exit, and also the production of hydrocarbons is symbolic, but interesting, but still interesting. Then we informed her about studies concerning mine waste tailings, and the environmental impacts of abundant mining, so pollution with risky elements. And we also presented here then this center of waste materials. So every big city has a location for waste materials deposition, and not only deposition but also how to manage with this waste. Then she was informed about georadar usage in the peatlands, in the high peatlands of Pokljuka in the Triglav National Park. How they study these peatlands, because peatlands can give us information of atmospheric, for example, of atmospheric influence, environmental influence or pollution also sunk in the pits. Yeah, this was mainly all that we presented her. Also, karst geology we present with the visit to the Škocjanske Jame, to the St. Cassian cave, underground cave, which is under World Heritage show. And we feel then our opinion at the end was that this was our opinion at the end of all us. We had no problems. We involved about maybe 20 colleagues. We are staff of 100, and 20 colleagues were for sure involved in this, and nobody rejected some cooperation, and there were no problems with any contacts. On the other hand, also she was a very polite person. Yes, our opinion is very, very, very positive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Milos. I have maybe two additional questions for you.
Yeah.
I will just summarize in one sentence what from all what you said. What was crucial for the successfulness of the international internship in your organization is that you delegated the roles among your colleagues. You included the whole team, and have one dedicated mentor who, let's say, delegated the roles and have an overview of the whole internship process. You included her into several activities and showed her, let's say, really a wide area of what you are dealing with, because you had a 1-month internship, but I think you're also implementing now longer internship periods where you will go more in deeper topics, let's say in more, let's say, concrete projects, not in a broad sense here. And what I wanted to ask you, as you mentioned already, were there any other challenges in hosting an international students in your organization? Also, maybe from the administrational point of view, does it take more time or it was very fast process in your organization?
Yeah, this process was quite fast, really, and it started in August, so still in time of some vacations. Yeah, but it was for me, it was my first such experience, and yes, and I decided as I decided, so not to go 1 month sitting at the microscope and looking at these samples and studying and make some very sophisticated inputs. Okay, we carried it out in 3 or 4 days, but not more. Maybe it depends on the program. So now at the present we have one, as I was informed today, we have one student from Turkey. He's a geographer, so geography, and he's especially interested in geophysics. So we know a little more than what is he interested in. In my case, if I can say so, in my case, I had to organize myself very quickly because yeah. So.
But it generally, as you said, it was a very good and also a very good experience for you personally, even if you are a very experienced researcher already.
My opinion is in any such context, so doesn't matter what, any such contexts are fruitful, we profit both. Yeah? In this case, a student, I hope, and we, for example, me, I profited also because we had many discussions, how is in Kenya, how is here, how is in Sweden situation, how is in Germany, because she saw a lot of such things.
Perfect.
Maybe some more details.
Yeah.
Okay, of course, program was made and the report were made and all this administration was made. Yeah.
Do you have maybe any last main recommendation for someone from organization who's thinking to apply as a mentor, but is maybe hesitating, is also maybe afraid to take an international student?
Don't avoid contacts. Don't avoid contacts with students or some other professional persons or with everybody. Be open. So, and it is not, maybe we say, when we are informed, we say, I have a lot of work, I'm a little afraid how it will be. No, it comes very easily, very freely and easily. So it is not the problem. And our function as if we are scientists or professional experts, of course, we must be prepared daily to answer questions and to be open. If we are not showing character, we must go somewhere in, I don't know, but not to be a scientist or a professional expert and be employed at the institute or university. We must be open. It is.
Thank you very much for sharing a really good insight, first-hand experience, and your, let's say, overall growth. Just one last summary: plan, be open. That's the goal to go. So thank you again, Milos. And now I will invite your colleague, Nina Arman, to give her the floor and provide a second experience, also an international student hosting the Geological Survey of Slovenia. So Nina, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Hello to everybody. Do you hear me?
Very clear.
Okay, then I suppose this is okay. I have just 2 slides to make this more interesting, and I hope it will work. No, what do you see?
But we see, and let's say not in full screen, but it's visible, so you can freely continue. No worries.
Okay, then it doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, I come from the same institution as Milos. But from a different department, so it's Department Groundwaters Hydrogeology, and we are about 30 people, so it means we cover many topics, everything related to groundwaters and also to geothermal energy and its use. So we have some experience with hosting students, also on regular student practice, also quite some exchange of researchers. And what we see as our, let's say, advantage is that we have a hydrogeological lab. We have a lot of probes, and in this case, I will talk about Camila later, was that she wanted to come for geothermal research, and then she saw that also because of this hydrogeology, did quite some, let's say, practice also on these topics. We also have a laser to analyze water composition. So there is quite some of the student and research exchange, just how to deal with the machine and interpret the results. Also geophysical logging equipment, And as I said, geothermal lab, so lab machines, and also in the field, we do use a thermal response test for geoprobes. And this is one of our, let's say, good things to exchange knowledge. And I could say that regarding the application from my side, it was very standard procedure. It was nothing special regarding the documentation, and it was even useful. I would say that video was even useful because it pointed out some of the things we usually do not think about this communication and how to approach, but this is probably really important when people come from different backgrounds and, let's say, not from the same cultural background, but we had no problems at all with this. No, did anything changed with the slides?
Yes, you now went to the second slide.
Yeah, okay, so I'm here. Okay, I know where I am. Okay, so we hosted Kamila from Poland for 2 months. It was actually not the best selection of the date for us, but at the end it turned out quite well, and we did the same as Milo said. I was the supervisor, and then we kind of share her around different people and different topics, what she was interested in. And we really put a lot of effort that she could see all different sampling procedures for groundwater. So she went into the mine, she was at the spring with the boat, different construction site where we measure geothermal parameters or sample the water. So she could test and actually try by herself all different hydrogeological field work you have to do. And for geothermal, also from my point of view, it was very useful because she was doing masters from geothermometers, and the software she used was actually the one I was interested previously. But so she could teach me how to use it, where to get it, and so on. So it was actually really a two-way process of learning. Because of being interested in geothermal, she also made an overview of the articles, how to use abandoned oil wells for geothermal, and we also took her in the field to see how we do it. So it was actually, I think, like more than half of her stay was actually field work, and to visit all the labs and to show her how we do the research in the lab, and also to visit other organizations. So we took her to other labs of different institutions, to the faculty, just to discuss how these educational systems differ between our countries and so on. So it was really actually very interesting to talk about. And what we learned, what we trying to learn or teach her was actually how to approach to this scientific field work and also to write papers. So at the end, we kept in touch. I also was some kind of informal supervisor for her master's at the end. And she will probably join our summer school, geothermal summer school, in July in Ljubljana again. So yeah, it was, I would say, very, despite not a planned time period, not optimal time period, I think both sides got the most out of it. So I would say my general advice is for the students to simply write quite in details what you're interested in. So regarding the topic, or if you do not really know the topic, what kind of approach? So you want to see the field work, or you want to work with the software, or you want to do something in the lab. So it's much easier to organize all this cooperation if you know what people want. Yeah, so this is it.
Thank you very much, Nina, for all the insights from your side. As it's clear again that it went very, very, very well, and both sides were satisfied. I think as you are from the same organization, you did not have administrational issues, as Milos already before mentioned. Would you like to tell anything else? If I summarize again, is to plan. And as you very well said at the end, for the students, it's very important that they think about what they want to see, but probably it's also on the go during the internship implementation that new, let's say, sites or options are opening. Was also in your case like that, or you followed a strict plan from the beginning?
No, a plan is a plan, you know, when you are writing it, when you do not know the person, and it's just a pre-plan. So I think at the end, the plan is really just the basic form, the idea to start thinking which people you need to share this knowledge. And then really you see when people come here and you adjust the plan according to current workload of everybody, actually. Maybe, well, definitely it's good. What I found, it could be a problem for the students is that the scholarship is rather low, I think. In Ljubljana, there is quite some problem with costs of accommodation. At least here we had some problems. So let's say the whole scholarship was actually more or less eaten by the costs to stay here, which for some students can be a problem. Yeah, so maybe that would be advice if it's possible to change something, because yeah, they are still students, they are not earning the money, and yeah, so that would be one of the advices also.
Thank you very much, Nina, for the last comment. It's a situation, yeah, in the capitals, and also in the recent year, the prices went even skyrocket. So it's a sad reality, and yeah, I think the efforts have been made in that direction. Also in the previous year already, and will be done, let's say, for the benefits of the students, as the program is intended for the students, and also for the hosting organization to get connected with the best students in the field from the wider region, and exchange, let's say, also with the international students. Another dimension, as was mentioned before, the cultural differences. Even if we are in the Europe, let's say, before it was a clearly seen map of the program operation, it's the RIS region, basically the whole Eastern Europe, and also Italy, Spain, Portugal, and Turkey as well. It's a quite wide area, quite, let's say, culturally diverse. So thank you very much, Nina, and thank you for your insights, and also hope to see maybe also future students coming towards. So now I'm going further with the schedule on the, let's say, good practices testimonials. Now I will come to myself, as I will present briefly my experience. I was also I was a mentor in the ADRIA internship program. ADRIA was the pilot program running only in few countries. And it was in year 2019 where we, let's say, tested the program implementation and all the parts. And then, of course, it was in year 2022 implemented wider as the RIS internship program. So my experience as a mentor was, I will share my insights and, let's say, gettings from that period, and later will be followed by the student Anya. She was our intern here at ZAC, and later she became also our employee and our dear colleague. So the process and the most important and crucial finding is to have a rough plan, but everything changes in between. Anya was working with us for a project, a specific KIC-related project on the mine tailings. And she was supporting us in preparing certain, let's say, deliverables, searching for data, and we were all together structuring some documents. She was very active, and what was let's say, when we planned a certain thing, it was also it's also on a personal level that student is very proactive, and Anya is very proactive, she still is. And this helped the whole process and the whole internship roll out very easily and very smoothly. At the end, as I said, plan. And the second part is also a good, let's say, personal connection, communication, communicating directly all the issues, all the problems from either from the side of student. It's very crucial that you communicate immediately. If you have any question, if you do not know the task, it's better to ask more questions in advance to do it correctly. And that's the way to go, that both sides are at the end happy with the result. So now I will give the floor to Anya to give her part of the, let's say, insight and feedback, and also suggestions for students, as Anya is, let's say, one of our internship best cases, as she progressed through it, and afterwards she was employed as a student further at Zag, and now she's a young researcher, excellent young researcher here. So Anya, just your insight here.
Hi everyone, and thank you, Matija, for a nice presentation. I'm just gonna turn my camera. I'm sorry for the light behind me. So yes, I did an internship at the Slovenia National Building and Civil Engineering Institute for about 8 weeks, and I can say that I had a very positive experience. Roughly, these 8 weeks were divided kind of like in 4 parts, where, as Matija said, the first one was about like the overview and like how the company works, and I learned about the internal protocols, because I think it's very valuable to learn from like a student perspective, also like how actually the research is done, because I believe that like sometimes at the faculties we are wrapped in a bubble, and we don't really have like first-hand insight into how actually like later work is. So this was kind of like the first part. The second part was the literature overview, where I learned about different extraction processes, zero waste approach, how to implement circular economy specifically for the construction sector. Then the third part was about the laboratory work. So we did some analysis of the leachate, chemical analysis. We used scanning electron microscopy to characterize the materials. And then I did also some analysis of the results to just get a first glimpse of what the results actually mean. Maybe what I want to stress out, what I see like also with my other classmates from the faculty, that it's very common that we don't really grasp of all the opportunities that we have, because like in Slovenia, we also have a very good program called Erasmus program, and a lot of students don't decide for that, because I believe that sometimes it's very hard to go out of your comfort zone and like to do things that you're not really used to do. But I believe it's very, very beneficial, like also from the expert and scientific part, but mostly from from the personal growth side, because at the end, like it's very important what you write in your CV, but it's more important what your experience is at the end. And I believe that learning different methods, lab work, go on the fields, it's very beneficial for students. But learning soft skills, communicating and networking with other professionals to find future employment, it's even more crucial. And I, as you can see, like I'm still at Zag, happy. So after 4 years, like my topic now is different as it was for during the ADRIA internship program, but at least I tried and I learned that maybe this topic was interesting for me, but not as much, but at least I knew and I tried, so you can then grow from that. So yeah, so, like maybe as a wrap up would be that you should take the experience. Even at the end, if you say, I didn't like it, you at least know that you tried and it's not for you, and that you have to find a different company, maybe a different type of work. But yeah, I think this kind of short internships are very good for learning that. So yeah, this is shortly from my side. And if anyone has any questions.
Thank you very much, Anya. So yeah, if anyone had any questions, they can also directly turn on the camera and turn on the microphone and ask each of the who presented the good practices now, which we had, and there are many more good practices. And I see now one comment in the chat, it's very good, that Milos said that they invited students for lunch and they accepted that without any objection. That's also a very, very good way how to handle. The soft skills are maybe sometimes missed, and it's always, especially after the COVID period, it's very crucial to have good also, and to try to have a good, not try, have a good relationship with each of surrounding you, including the interns, even if they are there for a very short period. So thank you very much, Anya. As Anya said, she said everything at the end and also wrapped up the main point. It's again repeating the message: don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone and try new things. It's valid for both sides, for organizations and for students. So now we are getting to the last testimonials. We have Barbara. Please, Barbara, the floor is yours. If you have a presentation, you can also share the screen if you would like.
Thank you, Mataya. I'm sorry I didn't have the presentation. I will just briefly describe the experience. I hope you hear me.
We can hear you very nice. We can hear you very nice and very loud. So
I'm also sorry for the video because it just captures a snapshot at a certain point and then it just freezes. And this will be like the whole time. So I'm really sorry, but I'm here. You will hear me.
We can hear you. You can also shut down the video if it's a problem for you.
No, it's not a problem, but just you will still see the snapshot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. So first, thank you for invitation. And we were, with this experience, very honored to offer internship to an excellent student of geology, Andrzej Sonik, who said he will not be able to participate on this event because he got sick. He joined us to learn how to solve the XOD patterns. It was his wish because he needed that for his master thesis. But due to his abilities and ambitions, the scope of learning regarding material evaluation was enlarged. And now he can actually evaluate materials with different techniques. And he will now participate also on a student conference where he will represent the work he did at our lab. So this was actually a very positive experience for which I am, well, basically, our whole lab is very thankful for, because Andrzej didn't just did good work, but he will become a member of our team in the autumn as a young researcher. So thank you again. I think for both sides, for Andrzej and for us. If I summarize the RIS internship, it actually is a very good structured process, even for supervisors, because it gives us, with that webinar, like a comprehensive view how the mentoring should be, what it means, also how to be an intern. So how to create a flow between one end and the other. So you can, we got that with that food for thoughts about the current mentoring and what you can do better and pay focus to, which did help so that we would have avoided any potential issue. It's actually really a valuable asset. And we were set up for success, so both ends. also the students, the intern, and the mentors. And even the final evaluation makes you rethink what worked and what can be improved. So this is really a good structured internship. So thank you again. If you have any questions.
Thank you again, Barbara. Thank you again for your experience. Sadly, as you mentioned, Anje was also planned in our agenda, but he got sick, so he's not able to present also his student side. But as Barbara mentioned, the experience was very good, and Anje will follow a similar case as Anya did to become our employee. So Barbara, would you like to tell anything else to the participants, maybe to the students to encourage? No, students are already encouraged. We are now, let's say, also encouraging more organizations to have a wide diversity of positions.
Yes, for the students, for the interns, it's very clear what their pluses are. They get knowledge, experience, connections, but the companies can get, as we will get, an already well-trained employee. He already knows so much that we will not have to waste more time to teach him, because he already knows things. So he's a well-trained employee already, and we know each other. We know that we can cooperate, etc., etc. So this is a win-win situation for both.
Perfect. You said all. Thank you very much, Barbara. Thank you. Thank you all who participated in the session of testimonials. And now we are entering the last part of our event. I will just share my screen just for a second. This is, now we are in the last part. It's short presentations of companies and students. Okay, now you see short presentations of companies and students, and I will now give the floor to the one who announced via email, first one. So I'm giving the floor to Mr. Vincent Jamnik from Termit, if he would like to briefly present their company and, let's say, their open positions available for students. Vincent, can you hear us? Obviously, he has some issues. So I will then skip him for now, if he's able to, let's say, present later. Otherwise, he shared with us some materials, which we can also share with all participants now. So now I'm giving the floor to the ones who would like to have, let's say, a brief, short pitch, fast pitch, either to the students, either to the organizations, if they would like to, let's say, present themselves, what are their, on the student side, what fields, experiences and skills would like to learn, and also to the organizations, which profiles they are seeking on, and what are maybe additional questions and remarks from their sides after all heard today. So please, the floor is yours. And you can also give the comments in the chat if you are afraid to do so. No one is encouraging.
Matea.
Yes.
My voice. I decided that when I look at our faces, when I look at our faces, we are all smiling. We are all so slightly smiling, and it is very important result of all this that that we accepted this program and all these activities as organizers, as students, as supervisors, and so on, positively and with a nice future, with a nice opinion for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Milos, for all your insights. As Vincent is not able to join us now, and if there are no other, let's say, who would like to have the floor now and give a brief presentation, I know it's quite hard sometimes. If Christina and Sibila maybe has some last thoughts, otherwise we will slowly conclude, and we will have the recording available. You can watch it later, and you can also share with your colleagues, especially you can also share with your either colleagues, students, and also colleagues from organizations and inside the organizations, to show them the good cases, the good practices, and how to go through to, let's say, do not worry, just go into it and go into the process. You will benefit a lot, even if it's maybe a really step into the unknown direction. So Sibila and Christina.
I would just maybe like to add that we are planning another upgrade of our online platform. So you will be informed. We will have more functionalities that will make it more interactive. And also that you can find success stories of this year internship implementation on our main web page, as already 2 internships have been successfully conducted. And that is it.
Thank you, Christina. I also wanted to add that although many functionality are currently in the application, students should check each of the companies specifically whether the profiles of the companies or what they are asking for from a student is actually matching their qualification, because we still don't have a filter that is going to somehow prevent the student who is in mining engineer to apply for a company who is offering only geological position. You will be able to apply, but then the company will of course reject you. So please pay attention and use filters when searching for the companies, and then make a decision. So if you could show, Matea, just not the countries, but the filters by education. So if you are a student in mining, for example, and then you will see what is the number of companies who is offering positions in mining. And only these companies that are offering these positions can be actually selected. So you should scan and search and do like a homework to actually decide based on the positions that are offered. Otherwise, you could actually choose any of the companies once you are in the application. So I will repeat myself, the application will not prevent you from choosing any other company, but then you will be rejected. So please do a homework before you submit your application.
Thank you very much, Sibila, for the hint. I was in between showing you the site and what was Sibila talking about. So here you have the whole pool of organizations, and really take that advice. It smooths the process for all sides on the side of students. And what is also crucial, even if we have it really in the pool, a lot of companies, we are always seeking for new to enable all the students who are applying with different profiles to be matched with the certain companies here, because the spaces are limited at certain companies, certain, let's say, most attractive companies. So you will need to observe a bit wider, and this is also one of our additional goals. Okay, So any additional thoughts from attendees? Okay, I think not. I will conclude now today's event. It was recorded, it's recorded, and it will be shared for all the purposes to disseminate around to the students and to organizations with all, let's say, information about the RIS internship program. What is the take-home message of today based on the experience, mostly on the experience shared? Have a plan for the internship, but of course you need to deviate in between. That's the life. Delegate the roles. That's the crucial for the mentor. If he's busy, it's always a good way to delegate certain parts. There is a colleague who can maybe jump in and support and give a broader knowledge to the student. So don't be afraid if you think that you're too busy. I think there were cases, there were cases presented that this is very and clearly possible, even with a very tight schedule. What is crucial also to don't be afraid to try new things, to step in the unknown direction, because from that part you will benefit the most. And that's one of the take-home messages. Don't be afraid to join us in the RIS internship program. So thank you very, very much for joining us, and hope to see you on our events. We are present on the social media and newsletter. You can register at our webpage and join us at the LinkedIn to be updated. So greetings from the whole RIS internship, and have a good afternoon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks very much.